Da-da-da, da-da-da.
Bum 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 bum.
Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum.
Dun 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 dun.
Ba-da-da, ba-da-da. Ba-da-da, ba-da-da. Ba-da-da, ba-da-da.
Ba 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 ba. We're here, ladies and gentlemen, folks of all sizes, shapes, and athletic positions.
We just barely here.
You may be wondering, and we don't know this yet, why does James sound so bad? And that is because we had a host of technical errors this morning. And not just that I was very eepy, but Nick, can you confirm what happened when I tried to run a speed test on my computer?
All right, let's talk through the multitude of errors, the comedy of errors we've been dealing with this morning. Error number one is the fact that James stayed up until 3:30 in the morning for our early recording and didn't send me the notes that he had for this episode until 3:30 when I had been asleep for 3 hours.
Now, I want to clarify. I wasn't up doing nonsense. I was busy last night. I wasn't just up jerking off and playing video games to spite Nick. But this is all correct. This is all true.
So I woke up in time to start at our agreed upon recording time, which when I woke up to those texts, I discovered we were going to push back at least a half hour.
10 minutes. Oh, no, it was 10 o'clock. You're right. I woke up at 10:10 being like, Nick, 10:30, please. 10:40, please.
So I was like, okay, that's fine. We still have to figure out the logistics of this anyway. And then James hops on, I send him the link for the call, and he gets on, and I'm like, hey, dude, we have this really bad lag. And this was a fucking Three Stooges bit that was going on.
I thought Nick was doing a bit because Nick would be like, James, can you not hear me? And then he would stand there gesturing I'm come on, answer. And I would answer, and he wouldn't say anything. And then 10 seconds later, he'd go, can you not hear me, James? Turns out we had an 11-second delay.
Because I was answering questions that he was asking, and then he was passive aggressively going on answering the question on his own. And I was like, bud, I just gave you an answer.
Because from my point of view, it was I'd be I don't know, Nick, do you want chocolate or vanilla? And then you'd stare at your computer for 10 seconds and they'd be like, so chocolate? And then you'd go, vanilla. What? So I was like, let me do a speed test, Nick, because maybe my computer's running slow, because Nick has been being a rock star and editing all these episodes, and there's been some delays. So I hit run speed test, and the second that I click run speed test, everything turns off. And it was more dramatic because the ring light also turned off, and the microphone also turned off, and the computer just turned off. Completely black, no power, could not fix it. It has not been fixed now. So I went upstairs and asked Katie if I could borrow her laptop, and she very kindly got me some AirPods for my birthday, because turns out we don't have the connector, at least not available, to plug my microphone into Katie's MacBook. So we're on AirPods today, and also taking a backup recording on my phone, and we're going to use whichever one sounds better.
Because James's AirPods, it sounds like for some reason, every time he takes a break from speaking and then starts another sentence, it's like a fade up is what I'm hearing. So hopefully that's not the case in the physical recording. Hopefully that's just an error in the stream that we're dealing with here.
An error in a strong stream.
An hour and 43 minutes after our initially scheduled start time.
It's here.
Time for March Mediocrity, baby!
Come on and slam, and welcome to the jam. That's good. That's going to be good audio.
That's right.
If not working.
Here on the C-Ticket Podcast, it's not the best theme park podcast, but it's probably someone's favorite. That James Perlas over there, me, Nick D'Ambrosio. We have a tradition dating back to the young year of 2021.
Your idea.
In which we put together a little bracket for the month of March, a completely original idea that no other entity has ever thought of before. And we always do it about something that's a little off the beaten path, right? We're not ranking the best rides at Disney World. People do that. People have done that. But you know what?
It's done. It's podcast. Old.
We have shitty audio. We have bad internet connections. We have computers that explode when we ask them to perform simple tasks. And we have brackets that rank the secondary things The kind of
Yes.
ancillary activities at Walt Disney World.
Yes. March Mediocrity, the brainchild of one Nick D'Ambrosia, and it has been one of our favorite segments so far. Nick, what was our first March Mediocrity? Was it food?
No, we did like the weird ride, like the weird attractions.
Mid-level attract. God, we started with a really good one. Yeah, the one that always sticks out to me is Sally's Gush and Splush, or whatever, Sally's Soak and Splash.
Casey Jr.'s Splash and Soak Station.
Yes, yes, we did that. We did the Boneyard at Animal Kingdom. We did, what else did, the Shootin' Arcade, I think?
Frontierland Shootin' Arcade, a classic, yes.
Yes, also...
Go back and listen to those.
Nick, it's perfect. We've been talking about the tech, and suddenly you went from crystal clear to about 4 pixels, which is just fantastic.
James, you've been 4 pixels since the day we started this podcast. I'm also watching our waveforms, and the gap between when I finish a sentence and yours starting, it's like I could drive a train through it.
Is it that bad? On mine,
at least when I'm looking at the waveforms on the audio, it's like pretty noticeable.
Okay, great. Well, that's how we got this little iPhone recording going, baby. So we did that. Then the year after that was, I believe, that was the quick service quarrel.
Quick service quarrel, that's correct.
We ranked our quick service options in parks. That one was very contentious. That might have been the most contentious one we had. There was some Pecos Bills. What's the New England spooky clam house?
Oh my God! I walk home. I can picture it in Columbia Harbor.
Flying Dutchman, Columbia Harbor House. Yes, thank you. And then we did the Receptacle Rumble, which is one of my favorites, where we ranked sippers and popcorn buckets. The second place winner was Donald Duck Coming Soon, and the winner, of course, was Mr. Toad's Drunk Driving Experience and Popcorn Bucket. That was a great one. That was last year's, correct?
Correct. And then this year, James. Oh boy. Am I excited for, at the very least, the name of this?
I was going to say, this was your idea, Nick. You deserve the credit. You deserve all the credit for both these things.
Hey, James, if I'm good for nothing else, it's coming up with clever wordplay names for segments on the podcast.
All right, so why don't we, let's set it up, and then I want you to say the name. So, coming in this year in the March Mediocrity Tournament, it is the battle for title of...
King of the Springs!
Bum, 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 bum. Ooh, yeah! Bum, 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 bum. Yes, Nick, King of the Springs, baby, with a great, great logo.
Did Macho Man Randy Savage ever win King of the Ring?
No, but he used to have... Well, actually, he might, because there was a specific set of images I'm thinking about where he's literally wearing a crown and sitting on a throne.
Yeah, he probably was King of the Ring.
Yeah, listen, he's
King
of our hearts.
I like when Steve Austin won King of the Ring. Because then it was, you can talk about your Psalms, you can talk about John 3:16. Well, Austin 3:16 says, I just whooped your ass.
Pro wrestling adjacent podcast when? We should do a wrestling
I'm telling
Patreon
you, on the Patreon,
episode.
we gotta do Thunder in Paradise, the Hulk Hogan Knight Rider ripoff where he has a talking boat, and it was almost exclusively filmed on Walt Disney World property.
Okay, we should do that. And also, they did wrestle at Magic Kingdom, didn't they? Or was that Disneyland?
So, at Disney's Hollywood Studios, well, Disney MGM Studios, that was like the home of WCW for a while.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they shot on the backlot.
Oh my God, that's insane. We have to do a Patreon wrestling episode. But that is what we are setting up for now. There will be 4 March Mediocrity episodes and maybe a Patreon exclusive little fight there, huh?
Oh, well, bonus bracket for you over on the Patreon. Thank you to everyone who subscribed to our Patreon so far.
Yes.
We are officially in the green on the C-Ticket podcast.
Wait,
well,
we are?
In the green. We have broken even, yeah.
Oh, good.
Because I'm not saying that I have been creating dummy email accounts to set up our recording sessions, but if I wanted to, I could theoretically do that.
I thought you were going to say setting up our Patreon. I was going to be like, Nick, A, I think that's illegal. B, we wouldn't be making money if we're paying for it.
Well, no, because if we double the subscribers we have now, then we can afford to shell out the dough for our recordings.
Listen, I wasn't lying on that Instagram story. Making a podcast is expensive and time-consuming. Please support your local annoying men. But thank you to everyone who has subscribed so far, whether you're at the $2 or the $5 tier. I hope you've loved the Patreon episodes. I've really liked the 2 we've done so far. And the next one, like I said, we're going to be doing a March Mediocrity one, and then probably another sports adjacent one, which, Nick, that may not be a bad time to do a pro wrestling one.
You know, it's also coming up right around WrestleMania.
Yes.
Oh,
yes. Oh, man. Oh, I'm excited.
Well,
Thank you, everybody.
Maybe we'll put up a poll for our Patreon listeners.
Got to use that.
Throw that in the
boy.
Discord, baby.
Got to use that. I have some friends who like specifically have recently told me they want to come over. We're going to make dinner, and they're like, can you pick a wrestling pay-per-view to watch? So I need to like hunt down what's a good one for people who don't watch wrestling. Because sometimes you put on a wrestling thing and you're like, oh, I don't want to have to explain what this is.
I mean, like any old WrestleMania, we don't have time for this. I'm trying to get some Dune 2 today.
Hey, I wouldn't mind doing... Never mind. I'm tired.
Doing 2 bonus episodes every month on our Patreon for just $5 a month.
Woo! All right, so Nick, we're starting off March Mediocrity today. For those of you that don't know, it's based off the March Madness bracket, and that means each week we do 4 versus 2 versus... It's 4. It's 4 people competing on this part of the bracket. Nick, we've kind of split up our categories.
Sorry, we're very tired, everyone.
Yes. I got so worried
it
when
is
you
like
said that.
this is like 5 a.m. for James. It's 11:50, which to him is like being awake before the sun.
I got so worried, Nick, when you said sorry right now that something on your end broke. Like, I was so prepped for you to be like, sorry, the mic stopped. We have split our 4 competitors this week into kind of categories for each week. Nick, what are we going to be doing this week?
So just to clarify that explanation, in case it wasn't abundantly and explicitly clear in James's eloquent dictation of our plan.
Sometimes I don't speak words more good.
We are pitting the establishments at Disney Springs against each other. We have a division for the restaurants and a division for the shops, and we seeded those divisions kind of according to, at least for the restaurants, according to like what are the more family-based establishments and what are the more adult-oriented establishments. So today we are starting with our family restaurant bracket. And so we have 4. Should we kind of lead with what 4 we're doing?
Yeah, let's lead with the first 4, Nick. Let's talk about these teams, these establishments that have scraped and fought and bled their tears, their money, and their employees. I couldn't think of another thing, because they're fighting to become king of the Springs. Who is it, Nick?
Well, our number 1 seed in this family division, and when this is a favorite going in for all of us, I think, is, of course, Chicken Guy. And I say that with the exclamation point because it is a very pivotal part of the branding. Chicken Guy will be taking on a place that I've never eaten, but I really want to, as a bona fide Italiano, Maria and Enzo's Ristorante. A family Italian restaurant over in Disney Springs. And then our second matchup of the day is going to pit Splitsville Bowling Alley and Dining Room against T-Rex, all capitals, trademark.
I love the way these are written out on the website because, like you said, the exclamation point is there. The trademark is there behind T-Rex. I also like that you called it Trex before, which I mixed up with the cereal. Yeah, this is the giant jungle fucking. This is the giant rainforest cafe with dinosaurs. This is the one you're thinking of.
Yeah, it's and so we went through a part of what took so long to get this episode up and running for us was we could not decide what restaurants to include in this because there are so many interesting restaurants to discuss at Disney Springs. So I just want to hit some honorable mentions that did not make the cut for this tournament. Obviously, Rainforest Cafe, which was like a painful one to cut because it has an active volcano, which I feel like would really play in its favor.
I thought T-Rex also had one.
We talked pretty extensively about Rainforest Cafe in the past, and it's a topic we could cover ad nauseum in its own episode. So we decided, you know what? Let's let that one sit for now. Paddlefish, which is a seafood restaurant in a giant riverboat, which again
that's
felt
incredible.
Very unique. But like, man, it was like we knew how it was gonna go because like I'm not a big seafood eater. So it was never really gonna be.
It was gonna be an argument. It was just gonna be an argument.
I just want to give a little nod to Paddlefish, which I've heard from my seafood eater friends is delish, but not for me.
It's a place I've been meaning to try.
For me, it doesn't deserve to make it on the podcast.
Well, I also didn't think I wasn't gonna fight for that. I was like, this won't even be funny because I've never been there. So it'll be me arguing about a principle and you arguing about a general dislike you have.
Yeah, other things that didn't make the cut: BB Wolf Sausage Co., which is
Great
a
name.
stand. It's a stand implying that the big bad wolf is
Killed those
selling
pigs.
the skins of the three little pigs.
Fucking killed those pigs. Or killed other pigs to send a message to those specific pigs.
Yeah, I don't have the list up in front of me, but yeah, some other things. Oh, SDK Steakhouse didn't make the cut.
Yeah.
Chef Art Smith's Homecoming. Summer House by the Lake, which is the new restaurant with the weirdest name.
Summer House by the Lake sounds like it sounds like one of those movies that is advertised at first. Like it's an A24 movie. It's advertised as like a romantic getaway, and then it's like a weird Shyamalan spooky twist movie. Summer House by the Lake.
It's the Summer House by the Lake that makes you old.
Hold on, I thought we were buying a beach house. No, the beach made you old. This lake, it makes you young. It's the beach. It's the lake that makes you young.
So those are just a few of the restaurants that did not make the cut. But hey, maybe we'll get to talk about them in the future. So before we dive into our first round, James, can you tell us what Disney Springs is for maybe the uninitiated listener?
Yeah, and I kind of like whenever you ask me to define stuff because first you get like the common speak peasants answer, and then you come in and correct me with your correct Disney analysis, which I genuinely think is a good way of doing it. That's not a bit. Disney
give it for the lame, like how a layman would explain it to just like someone who is like, hey, I want to go to Disney World. What's this thing? And then for all the fucking sweaty nerds like me, I can do the corrections so we don't get emails about it.
We were watching a movie with our friend Christian, and I would like say something about a movie, and he's like a cinema guy, so I'd be like, yeah, this scene looks cool because it makes me feel this way, and then he'd come in and be like, yeah, the filming angle is actually used for XYZ, and I was like, oh, we're saying the same thing in two different. He's saying it in italics, and I'm just saying it in normal font.
It's Winnie the Pooh and Winnie the Pooh in the tuxedo.
Yeah, 100%. Disney Springs, which I for so long knew as Downtown Disney, is the Disney sort of marketplace shop area that is right on the property. It's right by the water. It's right by the springs, actually. They're not springs, I don't think. But it used to be called Downtown Disney. And it's a pretty cool space where you will find stores, some of which are directly Disney, like they're Disney stores, right? The World of Disney, stuff like that. Others are affiliated with, or they're like, they're working through a leasing deal, like a Lego store or a T-Rex or a Chicken Guy. So it is a Disney World location. It is sort of, I view it in the same way I view the, like the resorts and stuff, where it's like, it's not quite being at a park, but you're still at Disney World. So there's usually a lot of cool offerings like shows, restaurants, some exclusive merch that you can't really find in other places. Other parts of the merch are kind of like an amalgamation of what you might find in the parks. I liked it more when it was called Downtown Disney. It also used to have some really cool stuff in it that's not there anymore. But overall, it's a great way to spend like an afternoon, or maybe you get there a day early and you don't want to go to the parks yet. It's sort of your shopping trip. It is your Universal City walk. It is your get pretty drunk and walk around and then take a bus back to your house or back to your hotel.
Yeah, it's a place that is totally free to access.
Yes, sorry,
anyone
thank you.
can go there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a kind of a key selling point, is that like, hey, if you have a week-long vacation and you only buy a 4-day park ticket, you got a Disney Springs day, right? There's plenty of stuff to do. There's little rides, there's hot air balloons, there's shows to go see and music to listen to. It's a great place to go spend a couple hours in the Central Florida area, even if you're not doing Disney. You don't want to pay for Disney. James and I tossed around the idea
I'm sad we can't.
Of flying down in the morning, doing Disney Springs, and flying back at night, and we calculated, like, even with getting food, it would have run us maybe $1.50 each to make that happen on a certain day.
And we could have gotten Chicken Guy.
Schedules and what I owe the government this year, that ain't happening. So
hey, look,
if
it makes you feel...
we're a little bummed that we can't make that happen, but Disney Springs is the kind of place that you can do that. They have a huge AMC movie theater, so if it's like a rainy day, you can go do that. Just take a bus from your hotel.
It's where I saw Moana.
Bars, restaurants, entertainment. It's a great place to hang out. And honestly, like, I also grew up with Downtown Disney, and I loved
Me
Downtown
too.
Disney. That was always like when I was younger, we didn't fly super early. We would fly in like an afternoon, and like that our first night, we'd go to Downtown Disney, always
Same.
go to Rainforest Cafe, and then we'd go back to the hotel and start like really get our trip kicked off the next
Some
day.
things
So
do
I
not
associate
change.
no, a lot of what I do, like a lot of like the nostalgia I have for Disney, it comes from the fact that like Disney Springs or Downtown Disney for me was like signaled the beginning of a magical week, right?
Yeah,
Um,
my parents would
but
do
yeah,
the same. We would drive down, and there was no point in going to a park. Like by the time you got there, so we'd go to the hotel. We'd go to Disney Springs that night. You know, it's a great little. You have a restaurant. You have places to send the kids. You know, and once again, it's free, which is huge because, like, let's be honest, for people who live in the area, they're not going to want to pay to get into a park every time. Like, there's no, even with the local discount. So it's cool that you kind of have a place you can go and just walk around. It's like going to a mall. It's like going to a slightly fancier, more themed mall.
it's going to the nicest mall you've ever been to. It's for those who are more universal minded. City Walk. It's
Universal
the same
pilled.
thing.
Yeah.
It's the same idea, but I don't. I mean, City Walk to me is like a little harder to navigate. Maybe it's just because I don't know it as well. But I would like
City
frequently
Walk-
get lost, and it's like a quarter of the size of Disney Springs.
City Walk feels like I can't even think of what I'm specifically trying to. Oh, it feels like the city in Kingdom Hearts 1 or 2, like the city that the bad guys Organization 13 are from. Which I'm talking about.
Not Hollow Bastion.
Yeah, you know what I'm
No,
talking
I
about.
can't-
That
Yeah.
there's that cool cinematic they say where Riku would fight the guy like on the building. City Walk feels like one of those, if you've ever read a book where there's like some sort of literary trope of the impossible city, you know, like Warhammer or Lovecraft, where they're like the city's geometry, it doesn't make sense. That is what Universal City Walk feels like. It's not very big, yet I feel completely lost unless I'm looking directly at the river and Sweet Tooth or whatever it's called.
Toothsome's Chocolate Emporium.
Dr. Megorium's. Hey Nick, you said it. We have to do a Patreon episode on that weird Charlie and the Chocolate Factory debacle.
Oh my God, the Willie's Chocolate Experience.
We have to do one on that. We have to go. Nick, I think we should go. Take the Patreon
We should
funds
pack up and head over to Glasgow.
for Willie's Chocolate Experience. All right.
We could absolutely get the actors. Like, they've been doing media. We can do it.
Let's get him on the podcast. We'll talk about what it's like to play the unknown.
It's the unknown.
Nick,
No.
we have to get started. And like we said, today's going
No,
to
I want to talk more about the unknown.
be... That's what the Patreon's for. Maria and Enzo's Chicken Guy, T-Rex, and Splitsville. Now, Nick, we don't follow like a hard and fast ranking system, but we thought a good way to kind of look at these, if we start to break it down, is outdoor aesthetic. What does the place look like? What does it add to the visual scenery of Disney Springs? A sort of indoor aesthetic, and by that we mean, what does it feel like to be in there? Is it welcoming? Is it fun? Does it look good? And then finally, what does the place offer? And I know, listener, you might be thinking, oh, well, they all offer food, and the other places are going to offer whatever they sell. But we're going to try and break it down into a little more than that, especially when we get to the stores section. I think with the food, it might be a little more commonplace, but also not all food is created equal, as we have learned.
Well,
You are the first person to tell me that, so I don't want to hear it.
food is food. James,
Not
real quick
seafood,
before we jump in,
apparently.
there's one more thing
Not
I want to hit.
seafood. Go ahead.
So, James, the story goes that Disney Springs was discovered in 1850 by Martin Sinclair and his wife Clara. Martin was a cattle rancher, and he found the area to be a charming and practical location for his family and business to settle into. Ever the illustrious businessman, Martin grew Glowing Oak Ranch until a visit to the St. Louis World's Fair in 1904 changed everything. While at the World's Fair, Martin discovered hamburgers, and his entire business
Discovered?
into what would
You mean he
eventually
had a
be
hamburger? You didn't discover
the
hamburgers.
Disney Springs that guests know and love today. In a postcard, Clara from 1904 on display in Deluxe Burger, Martin shared how the new food would help them continue to grow their business and local springs.
I don't discover Wawa every morning
Disney
when I
Springs exists
suffer.
canonically. It canonically exists because a rancher ate a burger and went, fuck.
This is so good. Hold on. I've been raising these cows. I should be killing them. What the fuck am I doing?
Yeah, it's
I
like
don't
a
know
nod
what.
to Disney's natural springs, or to Florida's kind of natural springs that were in the area for a while, and they began this
For
transformation
a
from
while, they
downtown
moved
Disney in the
out.
early 2010s, I believe this, or the late 2000s, I believe.
I I don't know why I never thought that Disney Springs had lore. Like it makes sense. Everything else at Disney has lore. But I don't know why I never assumed. I thought they were just like, I don't know, there's
You thought,
stores we built,
surely
dog.
it's just a shopping mall.
Yes.
Surely they didn't think that hard about a shopping center.
I have a question. So this is the lore for Disney Springs. Was it different when it was downtown Disney?
Yes, downtown Disney and specifically Pleasure Island had a
Oh
lot
God, what a
of
good
really,
name.
really great lore.
That's where
Like
the,
there
the
were
comedy
plaques
club,
all
right,
over,
was?
like telling the lore of Pleasure Island. We'll have to do a Pleasure Island episode at some point. Because
Sounds
man, that's a
sounds
place that I
worse
wish
than
I
it
got to
is.
experience as an adult.
Me too. Me too. Now Disney Springs was Disney downtown Disney was found by Hot Dog Slim, a cool nightclub owner. Not what was the name of the guy who found Disney Springs?
Martin Sinclair and his wife Clara.
Martin Sinclair's the bad guy in BioShock. Okay. Great. Hey, that's good to hear. I'm so glad I know the lore of this outdoor shopping mall.
And now we can talk about Guy Fieri's chicken restaurant.
Okay, so 26 minutes in, we're getting to our first competitor. They are stepping onto the court. Nick, what do they look like?
Well, they are about 6.5 feet tall with a pair of dark black sunglasses and a large pompadourical frosted tip little rooster thing on their head. Oh, and they got wings and feathers. It's a giant chicken that looks like Guy Fieri. It is the Chicken Guy.
Chicken Guy. Chicken Guy is one that I was hesitant to start off with, Nick, because it is probably my favorite of the places we are talking about today. And, you know, the whole kill your darlings thing is I don't know. Chicken Guy is a delicious, I'm just going to go off memory. I'm not reading the copy or anything. Chicken Guy is basically sort of a quick service fried chicken place. It's delicious. You can get a lot of crispy chicken sandwiches, chicken tenders, french fries, not much else, if I'm correct, and a bunch of delicious dipping sauces. I unironically love Chicken Guy, and that's where we usually go for at least lunch at Disney Springs.
Well, James, enjoy chicken and sauces bursting with celebrity chef Guy Fieri's signature flair.
Bursting.
From tenders to salads and more. Apparently they offer salads as well.
They do not offer that is a lie. If it's a salad, it's a salad made of French fries.
It's like the SpongeBob 2 salads, and it's just like a slice of lettuce and a tomato.
A salad? Yeah, exactly.
No, so I also love Chicken Guy. It started like for the meme, and then it's just like unironically really fucking great chicken sandwiches.
They are. Oh, I love. So we've talked about this. Chicken is like chicken sandwiches, both grilled and fried, are some of my favorite meals. Like I'm never gonna turn down. Even when I'm trying to eat healthy, the thing that really does me in is anything like a breaded or fried chicken. Like it's just so fucking good. And Nick, aesthetically, I don't remember too much about the outside aesthetic, but the only way I can describe the inside of this place is matching Guy Fieri's sort of 12-year-old boy Hot Wheels aesthetic, where everything is it's flames and the color red, and it's like if like you let a 12-year-old boy design a Hot Wheels, that's
I
what
was
you'd
gonna
be
say,
getting.
it feels like when you're like 10 and your parents let you design your room when you're redoing it.
Yes.
Except you're like going through your chicken phase at that point.
Chicken.
So-
I like three things: flames, speed, and chicken, baby. Start
And so they're
your
like, and like they
engine.
bring, you know what it is? It's like if they brought in Extreme Home Makeover and they're like, hey, we know this kid really likes dolphins, so they like design the entire room around being a dolphin.
If you
It's like
gave a make
chicken.
I was gonna say Make-A-Wish kid to meet a race car driving chicken, and they're like, yeah, we got to make this thing happen. Yeah, it is. It is the rock and roll and cool fireworks that type of thing. It is the fast car with flames painted on the side. Just on top of that, there is an anthropomorphic. How do you say that word? Anthropomorphic.
Anthropomorphic, yeah.
Chicken wearing glasses, which once again brings up the lifelong thing I've heard of, like, I don't know why the mascot of a place that eats that animal should be that animal. Like, it's weird that
Yes.
he's selling off the body of other chickens.
Yeah, say what you will about Chick-fil-A. They got that right, at least.
Their logo's just Jesus holding a sandwich, right?
Well, that, and then it's like the sign conversion therapy 15 miles this way.
Yeah, don't eat the chicken, don't eat cow, go to conversion therapy. Fuck them. Nick, do you know they have crave-worthy sides, desserts, and assorted beverages?
Well, James, can I tell you about the one-of-a-kind flavors where you satisfy your appetite with the rockin' restaurateur's irresistible quick bites, including all-natural chicken tenders, skewers, sandwiches, and salads that can be paired with over 20 varieties of house-made sauces, perfect for dipping, slathering, or smothering? Crave-worthy sides, desserts, and assorted beverages are also available.
First of all, I don't like the word slather being used in almost any capacity. Also,
or
from
smothering,
upstairs,
also an option.
Katie did text me from upstairs. Take of my body, blah blah blah. Do this in remembrance of me, with a picture of a chicken next to it, saying this is a religious experience. Thank you, honey. She said, "I love chicken guy."
20 varieties of house-made sauces is no longer accurate because I don't know if I sent you this link, but they
were very upset.
Slashed their sauce selection in half.
So right now on their website, on the official copy, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They have exactly 10. So that's kind of a little. That's going to be a hard. This is the equivalent of you coming into March Madness and one of your best players is tweaked an ankle. They're still probably going to be great, right? They're still a league above, but that ankle's going to slow them down. 10 sauces. I want 20. I want to be able to dip my fingers and my toes in each sauce that they have.
James, at least they still got donkey sauce.
So, you know what I like about this? That they break down what's in each of them. So I do
honestly genuinely appreciate that.
So do I. But you know what I do think is funny? That you look up special sauce, mayo, ketchup, mustard, pickle juice. So they're doing you the favor of breaking it down, but then they still write chicken guy special spices and seasonings. So you can peek behind the curtain, but we're not opening it all the way for you. No.
Yeah.
Little proprietary.
Do you have a favorite sauce of these, James?
I really like. So I'm actually, when it comes to sauces, I'm pretty basic with what I like. I will try everything, but I end up defaulting a lot to buffalo and garlic parm, and I also really like Nashville hot honey.
Sweet. Yeah, I believe I've tried the buttermilk ranch and the garlic parm from here, but
Love
I am,
garlic parm.
As per usual, a creature of habit. The bourbon brown sugar barbecue is just chef's kiss.
I love when I get barbecue. I love that. Chicken's kiss. When I do get barbecue, I love that. So I agree with you. Brown bourbon barbecues, delicious.
Yeah, but other than that, the menu is, like you said, fairly simple. You got, chicken in different varieties, fries. They do have some classic sandwiches if we want to run down those. They're big bite sandwiches.
Take us through it. I'm looking at pictures of the place.
Buffalo mac and cheese sandwich, the chicken guy classic. And then you also have the blat, which is bacon, lettuce, avocado crema, tomatoes, and buttermilk ranch sauce.
So, Nick, we know what the food offerings this place are. They're good. If you want chicken, this is an all in or all out, right? Like, if you want chicken, you're going to love this. If you don't want chicken, do not eat here today. You're not getting anything else. I think
they have salads.
With chicken in them, I looked. And there's also, by the way, you said salads. On the official website, there's literally one salad listed. They have salad, period, full stop.
And this are contractually obligated salad.
So the thing is, let's talk offerings, right? And I know Nick and I are a little biased here. I think this place, it is the min-maxing of restaurants, right? It picked one stat in D&D, and it's going to be good at it. It picked fried chicken and poured all of its points into it, and it put 1 point into salads. Beef, vegan, everything else, fish, didn't spec into that. Sorry, pal. Let somebody else do it. So I can respect
I'm also looking. They have shakes I've never tried, but James, if you're in the mood for a quote funkalicious feast,
that
50
sucks.
Tenders with 50 tenders with up to 4 sauces for. You want to take a guess how much 50 tenders from Chicken Guy will run you?
$62.
$81.99.
That is, you know what? The more that I think about it, I don't know. How much is that per tender?
Okay, let's do some quick math. Since you're recording on your phone, I'll do the math here.
Thank you. I had to very carefully text Katie something, and I was so scared to fuck up the recording.
Divided by 50. That's $1.64 per tender.
That's actually not horrible, I guess, right?
It's
But
not
we live in
awful.
such a... I feel like my ability to judge the worth of certain things is so skewed because, like, my parents are like, that's a lot of money, but I'm like, I don't know, that's what I've always had to pay for it, right? Like, I am the frog being boiled by our terrible economy. So it's
Yes.
I just don't even notice. Nick.
It's like why are we complaining about gas prices? We're gonna get gas. Like, what is it? We have to get gas.
Gotta walk, baby. I won't lie. I got an ad because I own a Dodge. I got an ad for their new... It's a promo image for their new electric lineup, and boy, does it already look so cool. Nick, so we know this place... I think this place does very well on the offerings. It is hit or miss, right? Like, if you don't want chicken, that's it. Looking at the inside and the outside of Chicken Guy, I'd like your opinion. I think the inside of Chicken Guy is fine. It's solid. It's a lot of red... A little bit of like sort of, it does start to delve into my opinion into like the soulless corporate art with the collage above but the walls are cool. Sure. The big chicken is cool. I wish they almost leaned more into like a Johnny Rockets sort of like a little bit of hokey on purpose. The outside though, not much of anything in my opinion.
Oh, see, I was going to kind of swing not super far in the other direction, but I do think that it has a little charm to it. Just because all it really is a neon sign against some brick. But I think that aesthetic is like very simple but elegant and speaks to the vibe of the restaurant very well.
So here's my thing. I don't think you're wrong. Because once again, you can kind of argue that's what they're going for. It's just get some chicken, that's it. But when I think Guy Fieri's Chicken Guy, and they put the exclamation point themselves, I don't necessarily think simple and reserved, right? Like I want big bright colors. I want a big chicken that goes...
is a factor here that I was not considering.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I guess that does kind of swing me back toward your end of things. I think the outside could be a little more
red, a little. I also had. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, but if you want to kind of now we can switch gears over to our competitor in this round, if you'd like.
I'd like to say one thing here, and I do not want this to affect Chicken Guy. I had one of the worst server experiences at Chicken Guy the first time we went. Have we talked about this?
I don't know.
So, serving is a hard job, and servers are people. You have good days and bad days. This has nothing to do with the quality of the serving. We had a server who was working for Chicken Guy came over and just started talking to us about how he really wanted to perform for Disney. And I was like, oh yeah, man, like, listen, been there, done that. Like, I get it. You know, Godspeed. You know, this is the job that pays you money. Do what you love. And he's like, yeah, I'm a singer. And we're like, okay. And then he started singing at us. Like, he started doing, like, a ballad. And Katie and I are both like, oh, man. Oh, God. Like, what was it? It was the Colors of the Wind. Katie just yelled from upstairs. He was singing Colors of the Wind. I've never even watched Pocahontas. Katie says, I've never even watched Pocahontas, and I knew what it was. And it was rough. It was, hey, bro, it was rough. And
I think it cannot be understated here that Chicken Guy is not a table service restaurant.
No, he was just coming by.
There shouldn't be servers. There should not be people coming to your table. You order at a counter, you wait for your food, you get it from the counter, then you go find a table if there is one.
So I guess that could also mean that he was legitimately cleaning tables and still made the time to sing Colors of the Wind at us. It was rough, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was a rough moment.
Oh, my God.
I don't play... Yeah.
I would have gotten up and left. I cannot handle that kind of cringe.
That feeling that you're having right now, that's exactly... And I was just like, okay, that's enough. You don't need to do this anymore. It was brutal. But I don't blame Chicken Guy for that.
No. You can't hold that against Guy or his chickens. But, James, they're going up going up against another interesting restaurant where... chicken could be your dish of choice.
Wow.
Hitting them against Maria and Enzo's Ristorante.
A savor the authentic Italian cuisine at this stunning trattoria. The ambience harkens back to the golden age of air travel.
Also, first of all, trattoria? No.
What
Wrong.
is it?
Trattoria. Or trattoria.
Trattoria?
Yeah.
I don't speak Italian.
But you speak Spanish, and they're basically the same language.
You think that? But my coworker, I've been teaching in a few schools, park ranger lessons, and My coworker speaks Italian, and I've never met a person who understands less English. You can put her in the camera for a sec.
I was going to say, if you want to give her a little kiss.
Oh. Mwah.
Yay.
Gross.
Do you want to?
No,
Do you like chicken guy? Yeah, Nick is gross, isn't he? He's disgusting.
She says, I like chicken.
She likes chicken. Mwah. Go put her somewhere fun. All right.
We're going to make coffee.
Oh, watch out for that giant wire.
I see.
Oh, we made it. All right. So, Nick, have you been to Maria and Enzo's big Italian Ristorante?
I have not personally been there. I really want to, but it's always such like a hard sell for people when I'm with them because I go, it's an Italian place, and they go, we can get like Italian anywhere. Then I'm like, and I go, but it's airport themed, and they go, yeah, no, we can go anywhere else.
I could go to an Italian restaurant that's not themed like a thing I hate, and I probably was just in 24 hours ago.
I want to know what the line of thinking was that led to, all right, we're building this new Italian restaurant for Disney Springs. It's going to be huge. It's going to fit families.
Uh-huh.
What's the theme? Someone goes, airports. And they all go,
Airports, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's got to be a backstory to it here.
I agree. So the thing is, Nick, the golden age of air travel, which is such a beautiful, like, that's when you were smoking on planes. You were walking right on. You were harassing the wait staff. That's truly when you could fly.
One of my Family Guy funny moments, I still remember when flying was an event, Lois.
Yes. So I remember all of that. No, I don't. I was born in 1994. But I get what they're going for. And it's similar. It's in the pie graph, right? It's a slice over from the golden age of exploration. You know, it's hearkening back to a time where I'm sure it was deeply problematic for a lot of people, but a few people remember it very fondly, and it's a fun thing to look at aesthetically. I have eaten here, but I barely remember anything about it.
It's kind of like the same energy as 50s Primetime Cafe, where it's like, yes, the nostalgia of a time when beating your wife was comedy and women weren't allowed to work.
Yeah, it's that type of thing where, what do you call it? It like I said, was probably terrible for most people, but a few people remember it fairly well, and it looks pretty. So they've just designed a whole thing around it. But I will tell you, I remember the food here being pretty solid. You haven't eaten here at all, you said, right?
I haven't.
The place isn't cheap. Like, it's not a chicken guy sort of go in and grab stuff. But I'm looking at the menu now, and this shit looks delicious, Nick. The focaccia da casa. House-made focaccia, whipped ricotta, lemon, extra virgin olive oil, sea salt, and cracked pepper. Oh, Nick, I would do terrible things for that right now.
Yeah, like, the thought of, like, a legit chicken parm right now is, like, making my mouth water.
So, like, I don't know about you. Italian food is one of those things that I'm almost always, like, down to eat. Like, I'm never going to be like, no, I don't really want Italian food.
Agreed.
So in that sense, it ranks pretty far up with like Chicken Guy and fried chicken. It's something I'm like, yeah, I'll put that down. But I do kind of get what you're saying. And it could be because you and I are both from New Jersey, where there is a lot of good Italian food. So almost I kind of get the thing of like, well, I just got to Florida. Why is that what I'm going to get? You know what I mean?
It's the same reason I've never eaten at Tony's Town Square or Mama Melrose's. It's like, yeah, I'll do pizza Rizzo, but like that's for the bit.
I do it because I like rats, not because I like Italian food.
If I'm spending money on like a sit-down meal at Disney, which is going to run you a decent chunk of change, why do something that I can do kind of other places? But I think the theming of Maria and Enzo's, and from what I've heard, the service really sets it apart. Like, I'm looking at some pictures of the staff, and they're all dressed like 50s, like air host clothes.
Really? I also got to say the cocktail menu here looks fantastic.
Yeah, huge cocktail selection, huge wine selection.
Yeah, this place looks good. I went a long time ago during my Disney College program with some family, and I genuinely don't remember much of it, but I do remember enjoying the meal. I remember being like, this is really yummy. It didn't stick out particularly in my brain. And you're right, it's not a cheap place. All the appetizers are around $15 to $20. All the main courses are hovering somewhere between 30 to 40, a few going into 50, but that's a steak. And the cocktails are all hanging around somewhere between $10 to $25. So it is going to be a pricey place.
For those who don't know, Disney kind of ranks their restaurants based on like a $1 to, I believe, $4 sign scale. This is a $2 sign restaurant ranging from $15 to $34.99 per adult. Chicken Guy was a $1 sign.
Which also, it is kind of crazy to think that's a $2 sign. Just what this is at is only $2. And like, it shows you how expensive shit can get, right? Outdoor, I don't remember much. Indoor, this place does look great. Indoor, being in there kind of kicks the shit out of being inside a Chicken Guy.
Yeah, I think it is like really elegant looking, but also like I totally get the vibe they were going for.
Yeah, and it is an interesting, like, if we're willing to put away the I'm looking at outdoor pictures now. If we're willing to put away the like I said, the inherently problematic nature of kind of what's being harkened back to, it is really cool. Looking at the outside, I gotta tell you, they do some nice, once again, I know I've brought up BioShock a few times, kind of looks like something you'd see in Rapture, with the porthole windows, with the cool kind of like the uplighting going there, the square Art Deco, kind of cool, man.
Yeah, it looks really cool. It's always looked super inviting from the outside, which is why I keep trying to like sell people on going there because I really want to fucking try it next time I go.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also right next to the Edison, and it kind of blends into that theming really nicely as well. And the Edison is just one of my favorite places on the planet to be.
Before I asked you about the Edison, and you still didn't tell me like what its theme is.
I just thought you knew. I just thought I must not have heard that part of the question because you were using a terrible exploding computer.
And I was also 11 seconds in time. You know,
that was a big part of the issue. You were living in the future, and I was stuck here.
So what is the Edison, Nick? Well, actually, you know what? We'll save that. We don't need to
save that for the Edison episode.
Yeah. So when they electrocute an elephant for no reason, and then one of the drinks is called Bully Nikola Tesla. Yeah. So this is gonna be kind of hard because I love Chicken Guy, but I think Chicken Guy beats on offerings. I don't think it beats on either of the other two categories.
I was gonna say, let's do this scientifically here. Offerings. We'll do one category at a time. Offerings. This is one of those cases where the rubric doesn't favor what I think is the obvious choice.
Okay, well, let's talk about it.
You're back there, folks. Sorry about that. The comedy of errors continues as James's AirPods died and it exploded our recording. He still saved it, but it gave me several very scary error messages.
It was not enough. Yeah, it was not enough just for them to die. It had to say critical error, recording ended.
Yeah. It was wild.
Let's dive right back into it. You were telling me about how this system doesn't quite fit what you think should win. You said 9 times out of 10, and then 9 times out of 10, the recording.
10 times out of 10.
10 times out of 10, the recording will break. So go ahead.
10 times out of 10, I probably go Chicken Guy when offered the choice between the two of these.
Me too.
But I think I think overall Chicken Guy experience would probably make me happier than overall Maria and Enzo's experience. But in each of these individual categories, I think it's like a pretty clear-cut win for Maria and Enzo's, right?
I think Guy Fieri's Chicken Guy still wins in its offering. And hear me out. I think there is a
Which
level...
surprises me for you to say, but I think I agree.
There is a level of practicality that Chicken Guy offers because we're going to be walking around this weird mall. You know, I don't necessarily want a big, heavy Italian meal in the Floridian heat, in the sunshine. I might go to a theme park later. I just want a nice, crispy chicken sandwich, something that'll get me through a little protein, a little carbs. But I do feel like that dynamic might shift, whether it's lunch or dinner. So,
Sure, yeah, that's a big one.
I also think this is going to be the dumbest sentence ever uttered. I do think what it adds culturally to Disney Springs offers more than what Maria and Enzo's does, because like I said, there's like, oh, it's an Italian restaurant about planes. Chicken Guy, you're like, oh, that's that wacky chicken place. I want to try it. There's only so many of them. They're all in strange places, like Atlantic City, you know, like which is never open, by the way. That one.
Yeah, it's like closed like 6 days a week. It's
So
wild.
it is kind of hard. Sorry, let's just crawling through potato chips. It is kind of hard to not feel like Guy Fieri's Chicken Guy offers a little more, but I do kind of agree with you.
A real chicken parm or a chicken tender slathered in donkey sauce.
I'm gonna take the chicken tender slathered in donkey sauce. I'll be honest with you.
I might also. Okay, so we can give that offerings. We can give it to renowned chef Guy Fieri on that at the very least.
But I do think in every other category, Maria and Enzo's is better. Right? Like, it looks better in the visual skyline, and it's definitely more pleasant to sit in, and probably nobody's going to sing at you.
Well, I don't know, man.
Oh,
You've
and
been
then
on
a
an
moon
airplane.
hits your eye like a big piece of the pie.
It is also worth noting that there is like a sub bar attached to Maria and Enzo's called Enzo's Hideaway. And by sub, I mean like not like submarine. I mean like
that where he
it's not-
hides after saying something inappropriate, and they kick him out, put him in the old
don't know.
doghouse?
I want to learn more about Maria and Enzo. Like, who are they and why do they like airports so much?
I bet you there is more lore to Maria and Enzo's than there's going to be to Chicken Guy, too. Nick, before we started this episode, I was talking about how I think Chicken Guy is going to be, like, the winner. And now, I'm very much considering kicking it out first round.
Well, James, everyone knows that the story behind Maria and Enzo's is one of travel, food, love, and friendship, all steeped in Italian tradition.
You know what? Let's honor the people that founded our state. That's not true at all. Let's make the right choice, Nick.
Maria and Enzo's Ristorante, an intimate Italian trattoria set in the once-abandoned Disney Springs airline terminal from the 1930s, now transformed into a restaurant. It's open and airy, blah, 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 blah. The backstory is that it was the dream of Maria and Enzo, who met in Italy before moving to Florida and wanted to introduce Italian cuisine to the townsfolk of the bustling Disney Springs. Enzo was an airline pilot, so he was drawn to the abandoned terminal.
Yeah, like a fucking
spacious
moth
setting
to
for the
flame,
restaurant. Yeah. And then Enzo's Hideaway was a speakeasy inspired by Roman aperitivo bars, which I probably just butchered, located in the storied Rum Runner tunnels that adjoin Maria and Enzo's.
All right, it's Maria and Enzo's. Let's not drag this out any harder than it has to be.
Round one upset.
I cannot believe Chicken Guy is out round one. I cannot believe it.
Man, we might have to do like a fan vote, like American Idol, to get them back in for like a Money in the Bank situation.
You know
where the Patreon, if you subscribe to the Patreon and you feel very strongly that Chicken Guy has been eliminated, you can go vote in there, and if you get enough votes, we'll like put the winner back in for a triple threat in the final round.
Much like Edge, the ultimate cluck-pertunist, the chicken slides back into the ring. Money in the chicken, fried in the bank. Well, did not expect this to go this way, but Nick, I'll be honest with you. Man. That's what makes March Madness and March Mediocrity such a thrilling concept. That the upset can happen, you know what I mean?
On any given podcast, you know?
And seeing as we've been surprised with several unpleasant surprises in the last hour and a half, this is a perfectly acceptable one.
Yeah, and now... So now we get to decide T-Rex or Splitsville.
I already think I know which one I'm going to vote for here, but you know what? I could be surprised. Let's start with Splitsville Luxury Lanes, TM. Bowl down memory lane while enjoying an upscale spin on this classic American pastime with fun to spare. You get it? With fun to spare.
Discover food, music, and entertainment fit for a kingpin at this retro restaurant. It's in a culinary league of its own. Now, I think they're not...
Oh, I'm reading the entertainment copy. I think you're reading a different one, right?
I'm reading the Splitsville dining room.
Oh, I'm reading Splitsville Luxury Lanes. By the way, they also want you to return to the golden age of bowling. That's not a thing I've ever... We can't just say that everything has a golden age.
The golden age of airline travel. The golden age of bowling.
Remember the golden age of bowling?
Chicken.
Golden
The
age of
golden age
bowling. When you could drink on the lanes, smoke whenever you wanted, and throw a bowling ball at anybody that looked different from you. The golden age of bowling.
In addition to all the bullshit we're dealing with, technically, we're lagging in our recording, so we're also stepping on each other's bits. So
I know, we've been trying very
good.
hard not to, but it's difficult.
Yeah, I like the golden age of dinosaurs.
The golden age of dinosaurs, when they was alive, before that communist meteor came and took them all out. Feminism killed the Triceratops.
I just like, they're talking about this as entertainment fit for a kingpin, but like the only context I've ever heard the word kingpin used is in like organized crime.
I think there was a movie I watched once that my dad showed me, which I could be totally wrong, which is a comedy about an Amish guy who became good at bowling, but like the mob was involved, and that was called Kingpin. That's quite literally the only other context I have. Nick, let me get over to the Splitsville dining room, because clearly I was on the wrong page.
Well, no, that's important to know, because I think it's a part of the experience.
Yes.
Because
Okay.
nothing says dining elegance like hearing the sound of fucking bowling pins getting run over every 30 seconds.
Hearing a guy who's way too into it just being like, fuck, every couple of minutes. Who
do you think you are? I am!
I am. Yeah, that's a really funny quote. That's the guy who was good at bowling, right?
Yeah, you know that happened in Old Bridge? Like, that happened like 20 minutes from where I live.
Really?
Yeah, like their PBA final that year was like in Old Bridge at like Old Bridge Lanes.
It's so funny when we've been rewatching The Sopranos. It's Katie's first time, and I Googled James Gandolfini. I forgot he's from Westwood, which is like 20 minutes from here. Crazy. Nick, so I'm going to tell you something right now. I'm looking at the Splitsville menu, and I'm not trying to make this contentious. I'm really not. This is that menu that I have described to you where I'm like, it just seems like the most generic, like how I've described the Rainforest Cafe food, which at first I thought might put this at a disadvantage, but then I remembered what it's going up against, and I don't think it's going to be at a disadvantage anymore. But it's that very...
Yeah, I think this is about as evenly matched as food is going to get on this.
It's that very general menu where they do a little bit of everything, and I don't think any of it's going to knock your fucking socks off. Now, Nick, I understand, you've said this before, sometimes just being able to depend on a perfectly average meal is something certain people enjoy. But I'll read you what they have right here. You don't have to bowl to enjoy a delicious meal at the Splitsville dining room. Start off with one of our delicious appetizers like macho nachos or cheeseburger sliders. This next one is where the red flag comes up for me. Enjoy tasty sushi like a California roll or a crouching dragon. For your entree, order fish and chips or a taco bowl. Don't forget delectable desserts like a Ghirardelli brownie a la mode, super sundae, and root beer float. Don't do sushi. If you're doing the other things, maybe don't do sushi.
Bowling and sushi. Okay, so we should also just clarify, this is a restaurant / high-end bowling alley.
Yes.
So you can like order, you can go to a table where you like order food and you're also bowling for like the...
You can beat a guy to death with a pin. I drink your milkshake. I drink your milkshake.
Yes, precisely. So this is unique in that regard that like there is a gimmick to it that I think works in its favor. But also the thought of like, all right, let me go touch this disgusting bowling ball.
God, I'm not even a germ person, and
Me neither.
Yeah,
like,
they are gross.
But like whenever like I'm at a bowling alley, which is maybe once every 5 years, and someone's like, "Oh, I ordered some food," I'm like, "Okay, I need to go wash my hands every time I touch."
And it's always like bad French fries or bad nachos
from the bar that has people that went there just to hang out at the bar.
Heroes. That's what we call an American hero, my friend. Nick, do you want to go bowling soon?
I would love to.
Yeah, we could. That'd be fun. Yeah, the food here is not... I'm not good. Like edamame, voodoo shrimp. Eating something called voodoo shrimp from a bowling alley, you deserve the violent shit that's going to come out of you later. They have pizza, which I guarantee you isn't good. The burgers, I'm sure, are probably like fine. It's just, the older I get, the more slightly wary I become of restaurants that try to do too many types of food, because it's that jack of all trades type of thing. And in my opinion, I'd rather a place be good at one. When it comes to food, I'd rather you be really good at one than...
It's the John Mulaney diner lobster bit, where it's like, you can't... Who orders lobster at a diner? But it's on the menu.
Yeah, somebody has to.
So let's talk aesthetic now.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I got lost with the tableside root beer poured over creamy vanilla ice cream in a super-sized schooner glass.
Yeah. So I'll admit there is a lot of neon here, which is working in its favor for me personally.
Splitsville dining room. Hold on, I'm looking it up.
Well, I'm just looking at like the overall establishment.
You know what? Okay, I'll say this: the like retro style pattern is cool. The retro style font. The actual dining room itself is like a little busy, but also I don't think this is, that's kind of expected. Have you ever been to oh my God, what are those ones they're all over New York City, or there's one in New York City.
Bolero?
Not Bolero. I know what you're thinking of. Something Lanes, something. No. I can't remember. We went for a friend's birthday once. It was like the extreme cool bowling. It just looks like that. Like it looks like a fucking bowling alley, dude.
Yeah, it looks like if Disney designed a bowling alley and kept it clean.
I'm sorry.
And it had multiple levels.
Nick, can I because it was only on our Patreon, can I share that thing about the spare from Madame Web, or is it too obscene?
The what?
The thing, because Nick and I were at Madame Web, and I was using the bathroom after Madame Web alongside the guy who told us to shush during Madame Web. If you want any more info on that, you got to pay the Patreon. And a good friend of mine, who's usually pretty serious, sent me an Instagram meme that was a bowling alley screen, and I played it at full volume, and it said, spare me a bit of that fat fucking dick, out loud in the middle of the bathroom, and it played at full volume, and everybody in the men's room heard me. And I can't stop thinking about it because they keep writing spare on this. Anyway, right next to the guy who told us to shush, Nick.
Yeah, well, he can fucking eat a dick.
He can spare me a little bit of that shush.
Yeah. He can fucking spare me the theatrics. How does that sound?
Spare me the Madame Web. So this place looks cool, Nick. I will say this. I think the outside beats the inside on this place.
100%. I think the outside here it's kind of got like those thin blue pillars that you'd see on like a 50s
thin blue line
drive-in.
Yeah.
Oh man, there was a drive-in that existed until about 5 years ago near me, like a drive-in restaurant. And it was so good, and everyone loved it. And they tore it down to turn it into like a fucking strip mall.
This sucks.
Yep. Hate everything.
Well, you live in Central Jersey, which is also lost to time. You know what I mean? Like it sort of exists.
Yes.
Have we talked about that place, the weird Elvis diner that I was in once?
No.
Oh, I'll look it up and I'll try to get you a more accurate name as to where it is. But I stopped at a diner once after going down to Central Jersey for work. It was a horrible thunderstorm out, and I walked in, and I am one of two people at this diner, and it is wall-to-wall Elvis stuff. There was a statue of Elvis. The walls are covered in Elvis. They're playing Elvis music, and I was like, fuck me. I'm going to walk out of this diner after the storm, and it's going to be like 1960, and I'm going to be in trouble. I'm like going to be like, no, I'm from the future, and they're not going to believe me. So, Nick, do you have more to say about Splitsville? It's not grabbing me, I'll be honest with you.
I mean, I think it's cool. Like, I think the bowling element of it does bump it up a notch. Like, I think that's considered an offering, personally.
Let's give it credit where credit is due.
Yeah.
Especially if you have kids. This is probably a pretty good option because you can kind of keep them busy for a little bit. Drink beer shot, drink fucking a bunch of bowling shots.
This is, after all, the family bracket. So
yeah, that's big.
It's something we should consider.
Oh man, we didn't really think about that. I think Maria and Enzo still would have won. But I was kind of thinking of that more from our perspective. As a kid, I don't give a shit about the golden age of air travel.
Yeah, but I also, I can get ice cream and, sit down for a little bit instead of, waiting for my parents sitting outside in the heat to come back.
True,
Yeah.
And you know what? Chicken Guy does not have a lot of seating.
No,
it doesn't. Okay, you know what? It's fine. Listen, the offering is solid. I think the food offering is nothing special, but the bowling is good, the aesthetic is good, and it looks spacey. You can give kids a little room to run around.
Yeah, but let's talk about T-Rex now.
Fuck yes, I've been waiting to talk about T-Rex. I've never been, and I kind of want to go. If we went down together, I think we could go to T-Rex.
For sure. I've eaten a T-Rex before.
Travel back 200 million years to this dino-themed eatery featuring creative cuisines and fun discovery zones for all.
So it's a rainforest cafe with dinosaurs.
Yes, but budding archaeologists will have a blast digging for hidden bones and precious stones in the Paleo Zone before feasting on a delectable menu that includes fare from salads to steaks.
So they have rainforest cafe food, but run by Landry's, the same company. And they got dinosaurs instead of gorillas.
They've got primordial landscapes from color-changing ice caverns to a fern forest buzzing with giant wasps. Guests will witness rumbling meteor showers, fiery explosions, squawking pterosaurs, a woolly mammoth, and a massive undulating octopus, along with a life-sized animatronic dinosaur, including a 15-foot-tall Tyrannosaurus Rex.
So you're taking some liberties with the copy here, which I don't appreciate. But yeah, you
What
mostly hit it.
liberties?
Well, you said a life-sized animatronic dinosaur, even though it
God.
clearly says life-sized animatronic dinosaurs. And you said a 15-foot-tall Tyrannosaurus Rex, but they say a 15-foot-tall
What do you think
T-Rex?
T stands for in T-Rex? Testosterone? Terry?
Yeah,
Titania?
I think the Rex is going through a transition, and we should honor his.
The T-Rex, yeah, it
He
does not
finally
stand for
started T.
It does not stand for T-Rex. I guarantee you that T-Rex already had enough testosterone to begin with. Also, I don't think anybody's ever going to get the T-Rex's pronouns wrong. I don't think anybody's ever going to get anything about the T-Rex wrong because it would obliterate you if you did. After
Roar
exploring
slash
various
bite.
areas, head to the Dino Store for an array of souvenirs, apparel, and other Mesozoic-related merchandise.
Yeah, so there's a gift shop here. So when I hear we ate in the how do they describe it? The color changing ice cavern.
Primordial
had a
landscape.
Damn good burger. It was I remember it like vividly. I remember this burger standing out to me. And this was 10 years ago we ate here.
So I'll tell you right now, Nick, I've never been in here, so I can't. This place looks awesome. Like, it looks. Now, I will say this. The dinosaur animatronics have the same sort of, especially the T-Rex, unfortunately, have the same sort of rubbery, zombie-like quality I think the animatronics at Rainforest Cafe have. And here, it is a little worse because this place isn't, dumped in the Menlo Park Mall in New Jersey, forgotten to rot. Like, this place should look a little better when it comes to the animatronics, but I gotta tell you, the rest of this place looks awesome. Like, the lighting and the walls and the giant undulating octopus. Like,
yeah, I'm trying to find oh, here's the undulating octopus. Yeah, he looks great. He's undulating like it's nobody's business. I gotta say, I disagree pretty wholeheartedly on your assessment of the animatronics.
I think the T-Rex
I think
looks bad.
these look light years ahead of where the Rainforest Cafe ones look. And
Yes,
I think it's
but
just
that's
'cause
not
they're
saying
newer.
much.
I mean, it is. Like, any robot gorilla is still going to impress me.
I don't know. You don't
Especially
think
one that you can, like, get this close to.
the
Like,
T-Rex?
there's directly underneath this Tyrannosaurus Rex's maw.
The T-Rex I'm looking at, the one that's like yellow and black, looks crepuscular, and the one that looks hefty and rubbery and not great in my opinion. There does seem to be another one though.
What do you think dinosaur skin looked like, James?
Leathery.
Yeah, that's what this looks like to me.
Nah, they look okay. I'm sorry, but like the T-Rex in the Toys R Us in Times Square, that was pretty dope looking. So I mean, we know we have the capability. Though to be fair,
Yeah, but that didn't move.
yes, it did. It moved
It
and
did?
roared. But that was also specifically the Jurassic Park T-Rex. They had the rights to that.
Yeah, they had the rights to they had the name, image, and likeness rights for the Jurassic Park T-Rex.
I just don't. I don't think this T-Rex looks great, but I don't think that's like a
I
huge.
just think you're wrong.
That's fine. One of us has an opinion. The other one's correct, and it's okay that you have
Yeah.
an opinion. But I don't
Hey,
think
you're wrong.
I don't think that. Like, I don't think that's a big. It's still an animatronic T-Rex. I'm still gonna be like, that's cool, and kids are gonna be like, that's
No,
great.
wait a minute. You worked at a dinosaur park with animatronic dinosaurs.
Oh, ours didn't move. We didn't have that type of money.
Yeah. So
I'll say
who are
they
you to
looked
talk with,
great,
man.
but that's because they
Hey,
didn't move.
go on, paleo boy.
Listen, I don't want to talk about your.
Makes it sound like you're on a paleo diet.
Listen, you Cretaceous creep. All right, you keep this up, and I'm gonna make a Mesozoic your place. I'm gonna come over and beat your ass. Sick. And I don't want to hear any comments about it. I think this place looks fantastic. You've eaten here. What's the food like?
Oh, this absolutely slaps the dick off of Splitsville. Like, that's not even a question. Like, it's,
Okay. I'm glad we feel the same way.
This is not a debate, I think. Like, I think this is a clean sweep.
This is one thing I will say, and I agree, but I'm putting it out there, just, dissenting opinion. Every time I think about going here, I look at the menu, and I'm like, this is a pretty generic menu, and for the money, I'd rather go somewhere a little more specialized, like Raglan Road or anything like that. But it looks like fun. I would like to go here at least once. I'm not expecting to have my socks knocked off by this food. I'm just expecting it to be decent, and there will be dinosaurs around me. Exterior-wise, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Let's talk about the outside.
Here is another dissenting opinion. I have heard at least 2 stories of friends with going with younger kids who were scared and they had to leave.
Well, those children are weak, so.
But I don't think anyone's going to be scared of like a giant bowling pin coming at you at Splitsville.
Coming at you? Yes, you would. Bowling pins are made out of like fucking wood and stone. That'll kill you. Hey, kid.
Okay, but it's not gonna. My point being, it's not going to happen at Splitsville.
not unless I have too many gutter ball shots. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But let's talk really quick about the outside of this place. It looks awesome. It looks like a big volcano with bones.
Oh yeah, it's got a giant dinosaur skeleton.
Yeah.
That kind of stretches over the entire property. There's a little Jeep, which I believe is no, it's not where you check in, but yeah, there's like a little Jeep and like a dig site outside. And then, yeah, it's a prehistoric family adventure. T-Rex with a nice little 3D sign. They also have a Build-A-Dino, which is a licensed Build-A-Bear annex.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking dope exterior. So this slaps Splitsville in exterior, eats it alive in interior. Pretty evenly matched on food, I'd say.
This... Nick, fun fact, I think there really are there's 2 T-Rexes. Or maybe they updated it, because the yellow one I was looking at is only in some pictures. This review that I just found on Google, I'm not going to read it, we don't need to, but I think the title kind of expresses what I feel about this place. This is the Chili's of Disney World, period. And it's filled with robot dinosaurs. That is the title of the review, which is exactly how I feel about it.
And let me tell you, I fucking love Chili's.
And we've talked about this. We've argued about it. We've also talked about it. Chili's to me is a 5 on the scale where I'm going to eat this and I'm probably not going to be like, oh, I'm glad I ate it. But I know I'm not going to be like, I deeply regret that. I'm going to be like, it was food and it served its purpose.
Insane to me.
But I'm willing to...
That you don't walk out of Chili's going, man, that was good. I had so many chips and that burger was delicious.
You said one of the most insane things I've ever heard to me when we left Jungle Cruise, where I forget what it was, but you were like, I don't want my food to be new and like, I was like, yeah, but I want the food to be like good and different and new. And you're like, no, I want it to be what I expect it to be. I want food to always be the same. And I was like, that is the antithesis of how I eat.
James, if you could enter a scenario, and scenario A is things go as you expect and it is good, or scenario 2 is there is risk involved and things could go badly, I will take option A 100% of the time.
I think it's a 50-50 split depending on what is going on in the rest of my day and life if I'm going to take A or B. I got to work out later. I'm going to pick A. I just want a stable, white rice and chicken, keep it basic, then it's going to work. I want to go out and experience something new and good. Option B.
But what if it's new and bad?
Who gives a shit? Then you just don't do it again.
But when you're spending $2 worth of money...
Yeah, I want to go to Raglan Road where the food is going to be better.
So
we're getting
let's just go through real quick just to decide on who has the best menu. We're going to base it off names because we agree the food is going to be pretty
T-Rex
fucking
wins. T-Rex wins.
Supersaurus sampler.
Yep.
Colosso beef nachos. Caesarsaurus salad.
Nick, it's the T-Rex. Come on.
Ronto burger, Megasaurus burger, mushroom and Swiss burger, Paleozoic chicken sandwich, Sunset Isle salmon, crustacean trio, prehistoric pasta. Yeah, okay. Then let's look at Splitsville.
Bowling
edamame.
Soup.
Voodoo shrimp does kind of rule.
Noodles
cone of fries
with bowling oil.
Yep. Okay, it's a clean sweep for T-Rex.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're roaring into the next round.
We've acknowledged that it could scare some little kids, but I also think both of them are going to entertain your children, and that's kind of what we want. All right.
Yeah, it comes down to know your kid. Are they going to like bowling or dinosaurs?
As a kid, I would have liked both, but I was definitely a dinosaur kid.
Brings me back to one of my favorite Chris Pratt quotes. Someone asked him during the press tour for Jurassic World, were you a dinosaur kid? He goes, I was a human kid. And
Listen, that's pretty good.
love it. It's Hollywood's favorite Chris.
And then he said there were no gay dinosaurs.
Maria and Enzo's versus Splitsville. Maria and Enzo's versus T-Rex. I'm sorry, T-Rex.
It's kind of funny because when we were building the bracket, we were like, Maria and Enzo's is the only one that doesn't quite like fit in with this, like the familial thing we were going for. It could have gone kind of in both. And now we have sort of this... I'm trying to think here. What is your gut?
I think we need to factor this into the family element of it. Does need to factor into the decision in some capacity.
Why don't we break it down? Why don't we talk four? Why don't we talk the four things we've talked about? Exterior. Both of these places look good in
T-Rex.
different ways, right?
Yes.
I think
if
T-Rex
you want something a little more elegant.
Yeah.
Like if you're bringing your adult friends to Disney World for the first time, and you're like, I want them to see the benefits of like going to Disney as an adult before I hit them with but there's also the T-Rex restaurant.
Yeah.
Do you want to warm them up to the idea of like coming here?
Or if we keep saying kids like they're always young. You have older kids. You have teenagers. Like Maria and Enzo's might be a better because the food's
so
going to be.
Here's the perfect example. I think we'll go it on the Aunt Trey's scale. My Aunt Trey's, she has gone down
Trace?
Trays.
Trays?
Therese. Sorry.
Like Trays in the Infinite from where? Okay, all right, sure.
Shut the fuck up. My Aunt Trey's, she has sometimes gone down to Orlando for conferences.
Dinosaur conferences?
No, work conferences. She
Dinosaur work?
Marketing. So she is not like a theme park person. She came to Disney with us for my 21st birthday with the whole family, and I don't think she complained the whole time. She had a good time staying there with us, but she definitely like had a lot to say about some of the things that I wanted to do versus what she wanted to do. Mm-hmm. And I get it. It's not for everyone. If she's going to Disney, I've recommended her places to eat. She says, oh, we're going to go to Disney Springs tonight. Where should we eat? I'd say go to the Boathouse and then go to the Edison. Because that's something that I'm like, okay, this is an element of Disney that I know you will enjoy.
Yes, 100%.
So on the Aunt Trey's scale, Maria and Enzo's would be, I think, an excellent choice.
Yeah.
And I think if you're going there with my family, Maria and Enzo's would be a win over T-Rex.
Yeah,
but
you got to know your audience.
If you're going in a family that might have younger kids, or just people who are more into the whole, this is tacky and
spectacle.
Weird, and we like that.
Yeah.
Like our group of friends, even as adults, like our group of friends would, I think, find an appreciation for that. T-Rex works for that kind of family element. So it really comes down to what your family is, but thinking in the prototypical sense of going to Disney with a family, I think we have to like lean that toward T-Rex almost.
I do
Would you
too.
agree?
I'm trying to picture in my head a married couple with like an older child and then a middling child and a younger child. And I think you would hit more satisfaction with T-Rex. Because even if the food itself, and I'm going to stand by this, even if the food itself is probably a little more lackluster, you are going to be able to feed more people, and you're going to be able to get, even if one or two less people don't give the food a 10 out of 10, I think you're going to get more 7 or 8s than if you have a really picky eater or a really little kid who just isn't going to work in the Maria and Enzo's sort of atmosphere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like in that regard, T-Rex might take it all again, which is fucking insane to me.
I think if we had to really break down offerings into food and more, I think Maria and Enzo's would still take it on food. But if we're doing offerings as a whole, what does this place put out? Kind of like we talked about, what does it add culturally to Disney Springs? Yeah, T-Rex is going to be
cultural
big.
Impact of T-Rex.
It's just going to be bigger. And Italians, God, as much as I love them, I wish they were real. They're not. Dinosaurs were. We have proof of dinosaurs. There are no proof of Italians. So it's just, there's no fossil records of Italians. Yeah, let's just break them down. Exterior, it's going to depend on what you pick. They both look good, but T-Rex, I think, makes a bigger hit.
It's a bigger splash.
Interior T-Rex, it's just more like after a certain point,
This is the one that I think could maybe swing 50-50
really?
For me. Just because I think, like, the gaudiness is a lot even for people who appreciate spectacle, like you said.
True.
I think there is just so much going on in T-Rex that it could be almost overwhelming.
It
Like,
almost
if
feels
you
like
have
you were...
if anyone in your party might have some sensory issues, T-Rex is going to be
You took the
a
words out of
lot
my mouth.
to handle.
Also, it almost feels like you're eating inside the track of a ride. Like, it almost feels like they put food inside the dinosaur ride. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And the scariness element is something to consider. I would feel comfortable giving this one to Maria and Enzo's if we so chose.
Interesting.
But I think it could go either way.
Look at that. Okay. Yeah, I mean, like, overall, T-Rex is gonna take it, which is so fucking funny, because it's just... T-Rex
We have, like, really nice... In a round that included really nice Italian restaurant, renowned, favored on the internet, meme chicken restaurant from celebrity chef
gave
Guy
it to
Fieri.
the dumb fucking dinosaur restaurant.
Man, that's just the way March Madness and March Mediocrity work. On any given podcast, the favorites could go down to the underdog or the underdino.
On the other, this Dimetrodon is no proto-mammal. He's the winner of this March Mediocrity competition. Rah. Nick, what's your favorite dinosaur?
Oh man, probably a Triceratops if I'm going basic.
Triceratops is pretty cool. No, it's pretty cool. You don't see them anymore because of woke. But I like baryonyx.
Oh, I thought it was because of comets and climate change, but you know.
No, it's because of, well, those are woke. You don't see them anymore because of
climate
woke.
change is woke. You are correct on that front.
I like baryonyx.
James, who's your favorite Italian?
Can I say you?
No.
Tony Sirico, the guy who played Paulie Walnuts.
Sure.
Yeah, I wish he was
No.
real.
Wasn't that Mike? No, Michael Imperioli's the other guy.
Michael Imperioli played Christopher. Hey, Christopher, get the fuck out of here. Yeah,
Michael Imperioli's on Broadway right now, and I don't want. He's in Enemy of the People, which is a very long show with no intermission. And I don't want to see the show, but I do want to see him in it, and I want to see what's her name, Victoria Pedretti from all the Mike Flanagan shows is in it.
Oh, really? Who does she play in?
Yeah.
Who was she in one of the Mike Flanagan shows?
She is in Hill House. She's like the main girl.
Okay.
In Bly Manor, she's the main girl.
Okay.
She's like the girl.
Got it. Who is she in the Poe one?
I don't think she was in that one.
And you didn't watch Midnight Mass?
No.
Son of a bitch. All right. So let's just say it one more time. The winner of the first round of the King of the Springs Restaurant Family Division, it's going to be T-Rex trademark. T-Rex trademark all the way through. Slam dunking with its tiny little arms. Bam! Right through the hoop and causing an extinction of Guy Fieri. Dinosaurs may have evolved into birds, not these fucking birds. Italians weren't real to begin with, and I forget what the third one was. Oh, bowling.
The
Who
mass
gives a shit?
extinction of Italians is an objectively funny concept.
Yes. I just saw a tweet once that was like, man, I thank God, Goodfellas invented Italians. I just wish they were real.
The four genders: dinosaurs, Italians, bowlers, and Guy Fieri.
Guy Fieri. Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Nick, despite our myriad of technical issues, I'm glad that we finally got the first March Mediocrity down, and I'm excited to get in the next one.
Yeah, and I might still have time to go see Dune 2. And guess what? We'll be doing 2 bonus episodes on our Patreon every month. I said this joke earlier, and I'm going to hit it home because I feel like it got overshadowed by some lag that we were experiencing. But yeah, we're doing 2 bonus episodes on our Patreon every month on our $5 tier. Or if you just want to get in on the fun on discussions and join our Discord, it's $2 a month to become an average C-Ticket enjoyer. The link will be in our description below, but it's patreon.com/cticketpod. No spaces, no capitals, no hyphenations there. But also follow us on social media at cticketpod on Instagram, Twitter, and the TikTok. You know where to find us. James, anything to add?
Let's put in that $1 million tier where we'll go to Disney together.
I mean, hey, if someone's willing to give us $1 million a month, even once,
let's put like $5,000. $5,000. We'll go to Disney.
I don't know if I could afford 3 people to Disney World on $5,000.
No. They have to pay for themselves. The $5,000.
Oh, we'll just go with them?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I think we should put in, I'm telling you, man, like an $100 a month tier where we'll watch Morbius with you once a month. We'll watch any Sonyverse movie with you once a month. Anyone you want. Also, thank you. I forget who now, but sent me the message. Happy Morbius streaming release day. That's coming out soon. We can all stream Morbius together soon. March Mediocrity, King of the Springs, round 1 is in the books. You can find us at all those places Nick said. Hope this episode sounds okay. We will find out when it drops.
But through hell or high water, we got through this episode. This was, hey, God sends his bravest soldiers to fight his toughest battles. And we fought this battle, and we landed in the prehistoric era. So, James, congrats on surviving to another incredible March Mediocrity. We are here. We are eating at a dinosaur restaurant. Get used to it.
Like the Triceratops said to the T-Rex. See you next week.